The realm of the sorcerer. Created from the raw energy of the warp, Tzeentch's realm is one of constant flux and shifting structures hewn spontaneously from every material imaginable. There, the only constant is change. No mortal and few demons can visit the realm of the Raven God and survive with sanity intact. From Inquisitor Gillian Keys of the Ordo Malleus. Just as Tzeentch manifests and appears in many different guises, many of them fluid and shifting, so too the domain of the Changer of Ways within the realm of chaos, the realm of the sorcerer, constantly adapts to its master's whims, desires, moods, and of course, the demands of its 1001 plots. Observers, human, xenos, and demon, perceive and interpret this territory in a wide variety of ways. In fact, some scholars and a few of the more coherent first-hand witnesses who have survived contact with Tzeentch's realm have suggested that neither mortal nor demon, save perhaps the most powerful lords of change, can grasp the true nature of Tzeentch's shifting realm. Most who visit the domain of the Great Mutator quickly go mad. Those of exceptionally strong mind and strong will can perhaps interpret but one facet of the often crystalline landscape that, like Tzeentch itself, has an infinite number of faces. Many commentators suggest that the mortal mind can only perceive this world of warp energy wrought into something resembling solid form through symbols or metaphors, images created by the mind of the iron-willed in an attempt to make sense of pure chaos and constant change. In fact, many commentators rely on paradoxical metaphors even to describe the process of perceiving Tzeentch's realm itself, sculpting with fog, describing a dream as it occurs, singing silently, painting with mist and the like. The great ocean of the warp is a sea of madness and insanity, and Tzeentch's realm is the concentrated essence of such things given form. In spite of the constantly changing nature of the domain of the Architect of Fate, and the limited capacity of the mortal mind to perceive and comprehend it, certain common views have emerged from the extant descriptions of its realm. Some observers claim that an enormous crystalline labyrinth dominates the landscape, a luminescent plane shimmering like a polished, mottled opal. Passages in this maze appear, dissolve, merge, split, and change direction, seemingly at random. Only the Lords of Change, Tzeentch's greater demons, and those with the trenchant insights of the irrevocably mad can hope to understand the design of Tzeentch's deranged maze and to navigate its corridors. No demons are needed to act as sentinels in its realm. The labyrinth itself provides sufficient protection against anyone rash and foolhardy enough to attempt an assault on the great schemer. Those who gaze into the crystalline substance that composes this maze may see more than light reflected and refracted in the fluctuating facets of the shining surfaces. They may catch glimpses of fears, miseries, and hopes made visually manifest, dreams and nightmares, histories real and imagined, potential futures, images of torment, ecstasy and despair, and abstract thoughts made momentarily concrete as pictures in the crystals. One visionary reported seeing various images of his children at different points in their lives, all of them moments of despair, sorrow, and desperation. Another recounted her experiences in Tzeentch's realm as one of exaltation and ecstasy, as she witnessed reflected representations of what she took to be her possible futures, each more joyful and successful than the last. And yet another claimed to observe nightmare imagery in the mirrored surface of the labyrinth, demons rending flesh from friends and loved ones, the destruction of his home by dark sorcerers wielding warp fire, and worst of all, the transformation of his own body into a tentacled, writhing mass. When this last traveller was finally able to tear his gaze away from the hellish visions, he discovered that solar days had passed and that his body had indeed changed into the hideous chaos spawn he had seen in his vision. Imperial records show that all three of these individuals met with tragic ends. Suicide, insanity, and execution at the hands of the Inquisition, respectively. In one sense, these survivors of Tzeentch's realm were fortunate, as it is rumoured that most who travel through the maze of the Raven God wander it eternally as miserable, insane shells of their former selves, forever tormented by ghastly visions, regrets over their mistakes and missed opportunities, and the hopes for a tomorrow that they will never realize. While the passage of time in the warp fluctuates and does not correspond to its regular, linear flow in the normal, four-dimensional space-time of the Monasterium, the inconsistency of time's progression is even more pronounced in Tzeentch's realm. The accounts of the survivors suggest in what seems like a few solar minutes spent gazing to the depths of the crystals of Tzeentch's labyrinthine realm, solar days or even standard years can pass. Two individuals might enter Tzeentch's realm in the same instant in time. One might exit moments later and report that years had passed, whereas the other could spend centuries of real time in Tzeentch's realm but swear that he had been gone only minutes. In addition, other peculiarities in individuals' subjective perceptions of time occur within its realm. A single footstep may seem to take solar hours to complete. What seems like a few seconds spent admiring the beautiful refraction of light on the crystalline structure of the maze can take Tehran days. Many visitors, momentarily transfixed by some curiosity in its realm, have died of dehydration or starvation. Others can spend years wandering the insane corridors of its maze without drinking, eating, or resting, their metabolism apparently slowed by chaos influences. Legends tell of an entity known as the Guardian of the Maze that inhabits the crystalline labyrinth. Though its name implies that it serves as the protector of Tzeentch's realm, it is said to function more as a gatekeeper and observer. Rumors tell of a path through Tzeentch's realm that, in theory, anyone, mortal or demon, may follow to discover infinite knowledge. To follow this path, the inquisitive pilgrim must travel through 9 gates. These portals, 3 times the height of a man, appear as golden arches wreathed in the blue and pink warp fire of Tzeentch. Such is the power of the Guardian of the Maze, or perhaps it is the bizarre temporal nature of Tzeentch's twisting realm itself, that the Guardian manifests as a giant, disembodied mouth, hovering above all 9 gates simultaneously. At each gate, the mouth ponderously speaks, asking those seekers of knowledge one of the 999 riddles of Zarachoth. Those who answer the riddles correctly may pass through the gates and continue along the path to ultimate enlightenment. Those who fail to answer correctly are doomed to wander the labyrinth for all eternity, racked with insanity and regret over the infinite knowledge that might have been theirs. Legend tells of one being, the only one in all of history who answered all 9 of the questions correctly. Strangely, many versions of the story posit that this individual appeared in the guise of a young girl who was accompanied by a small black dog. Factions within the Ordo Malleus wage vicious scholarly battles over the hidden significance of this tale, or if the tale actually happened, or was yet another metaphorical wisp of smoke from the Master of Lies. The Impossible Fortress. Tzeentch's Sanctum Sanctorum, the Impossible Fortress, is said to lie at the center of the crystalline maze. If indeed geographical descriptors such as center apply with any accuracy to this inconstant realm. Some consider this as more akin to a central belief or conceit that might drive a series of thoughts than an actual location, as nothing of this area has physicality as mortals would comprehend it. While this etheric edifice is in constant flux, many have described it as a crystalline castle, composed of the same sort of material as the labyrinth that surrounds it. Imbalanced spires spontaneously emerge from the ever-shifting foundations of the impossible fortress, as do towers of blue and pink flame and searing warp fire. Gates, doors, and portals slowly open, as if yawning with the ennui of ages, only to slam shut like a mouths of terrible beasts, then disappear. Mortals shackled by the psychological manacles forged by a lifetime of habit and enculturation in the material realm cannot fathom the perverse design of Tzeentch's home. Indeed, as the name of this fastness implies, even the most visionary and heretical designers of the material realm could not draft plans for the maddening architecture of the impossible fortress. Few demons, save the most powerful lords of change, can navigate its corridors. But as these creations are intelligent distillations of the madness that makes up Tzeentch's realm, they thrive all the same. Deep inside this fortress, according to some profane accounts, lies Tzeentch's fabled hidden library. This infinite collection of tomes, scrolls, and parchments of every kind contains every scrap of knowledge and thought ever recorded in creation. Stories written and unwritten, histories true and alternate, and accounts of futures potential, actual, and imagined. Many of the volumes are so weighty with knowledge that they gain sentience of a kind and spend centuries chattering to passers-by, arguing with one another, rewriting themselves, and then reorganizing their placement accordingly. Magical chains of warp flame help to protect the books and bind them in place. Horrors serve as grotesque librarians and work tirelessly to reshelve the works, catalogue the collection, and maintain what passes for order in the impossible fortress, though, as the concept itself is anathema to the great mutator, no mortal could possibly fathom such a design. As with so many things associated with the Changer of Ways, few are always as they seem. Although the Crystal Labyrinth, the Impossible Fortress, and the Hidden Library often appear, or at least are often perceived, as I mentioned before, by no means are these descriptions consistent with every narrative provided by those unfortunate mortal souls who have visited Tzeentch's domain. Book Samael, dubbed the lunatic scrivener of Hamclove Prime by the Hive City princes who acted as his patrons, claimed to have traveled to and returned from Tzeentch's realm in the early 41st millennium. Samael attested that he saw nothing but a bleak hill on which a single leafless tree stood. Delas Dial, the heretic illuminator of Falan 10, who was later executed for heresy, described Tzeentch's realm as a barren, desert landscape populated by deformed, headless humanoids that continually split and reformed into new bodies. Other witnesses have described a realm of pulsating and constantly morphing protoplasm, towers of fungus and mold, continents of sentient vegetation and vines without finite length, and vast landscapes of nothing but barren stone and ash. It is likely that Tzeentch's realm is all of these things, and many more. Others have suggested that observers interpret Tzeentch's realm subjectively, filtering their perception of structured warp energy through their own psychological expectations and experiences. It may be most probable that Tzeentch itself determines how each mortal or demonic individual perceives its realm to suit the needs, whims, and conspiracies of the Master of Lies.